Of Field the Draft for this offseason. I'm your host, John Sirenitas, and our first guest for this offseason in terms of NFL draft prospects from the area is James Cahoon, quarterback from Bridgewater State. James, thanks for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you so much for having me.
And obviously, let's start with, first of all, how cool is it to be in a position where you're competing and preparing to possibly get drafted by an NFL team or to have the opportunity to play professionally?
Yeah, this is like honestly a lifelong dream. Definitely if you asked me this in like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, I would not think I'd be in this position.
And of course, when you look at your backstory, your high school career, you played at Bourne High School down the Cape. You eventually made your way to Bridgewater State. Talk a little bit about your football journey and what led you to Bridgewater State.
Yeah, so Bourne High School, like super, super small. I think we had like 115 kids in our graduating class, something like that. But I got the chance to play really early there. I started like every game since the beginning of my sophomore year. So, that was a really good experience. We ended up running like a pro style or not pro style system, spread system there. So I think that like really helped me transition into like working into the mold of being a college quarterback and just like getting in and out of personnels, having a good understanding of defensive schemes, coverages, whatever that is, whether it's zone blitz team, man blitz team, stuff like that. And then when it came down to like recruiting and everything, obviously like I wasn't like a super huge recruited guy. I think I definitely consider myself like a late developer, late bloomer. So it was between Bridgewater, St. Anselm's, and a couple other schools, but those were the two big ones. And Coach Charlie Loeb was the quarterback coach at the time at St. Anselm's, and he ended up moving on, and I just like didn't I had a really good connection with him. And then I had met Joe Varia and Coach Pat Callahan, who like from the beginning, I just had a great connection with, and this place like really felt like home. So I made the decision to come to Bridgewater, only like 30 minutes down the road from home. So it was a good thing too.
And you make the decision to play at Bridgewater. And, when you look at your size, your physical traits, people would say, well, what's this kid doing playing at Bridgewater State, a Division III program? But that doesn't matter. You got an opportunity, and you mentioned Coach Varia, Coach Callahan. You connected with those guys. And so often, James, that's really what it's about in the recruiting process. Up until the last couple of years with the portal and the insanity with NIL and everything else, for the most part, a lot of times, no matter what level we're talking about here, and I've coached Division III college football, but no matter what level we're talking about here, that relationship piece was important. But it's not just the relationship piece. Obviously, you thought you'd have an opportunity to play sooner than later at Bridgewater State.
Yes. Coming in, I honestly like really had I didn't have like a great understanding of what like Division III athletics was or anything like that, just because like the stigma around it that you hear, like being a high schooler, senior, like looking to be recruited. Obviously, everyone wants to play Power 5 football, be a scholarship guy, play on ABC, NBC, all that stuff, national television. But like as soon as I got there, you like start to realize like, wow, these guys they're really good. You know what I think?
Talent there, yeah.
It's like
good talent in that conference.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like an 18-year-old kid. Like those guys, like seniors, like fifth-year seniors, grad students, they're 23-year-old men. You know what I mean? So they're really like physically developed. They've been through it. Really, really hard workers, and they're like just as good as anyone. I think the best D3 guys, like guys, a lot of really good, talented guys I played are just as good as anyone else I've like trained with or seen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And obviously get an opportunity to play in an offense that suits your skill set. When we talk about your skill set, your size, you have that frame and that size where you're a pro-style quarterback. It's what teams look for that run multiple offenses. You get to Bridgewater. Obviously, you play in a scheme that suits your style. What are some of the strengths of your game as scouts and quarterback coaches and talent evaluators watch you on tape? What are they going to see in regards to your strengths? What will what they see match what you think of yourself?
Yeah, I think, if you like watch my tape, obviously, as you said, like I'm a traditional, like pocket, like true pro style passer. I think that my biggest like attributes or strengths are probably like, I think that my ability, like my arm strength would translate at any level, like translate in the NFL level. I think I'm extremely accurate. I have a great understanding of like pre and post snap recognition, like just being able to process information really quickly, being a distributor of the football to all areas of the field. And, I think that's something I didn't like really get a chance to do maybe at Bridgewater as much as I like is like extend plays, you know what I mean? And like make plays off schedule, things like that.
Dante Reno joins the show, best in the country, Super Bowl winner one day.
Dante,
Yeah,
love him.
from one great quarterback to another. Dante, thank you for checking in, brother. Hope all is well. Dante Reno, of course, well known in the area, son of Tony Reno. He is going to be playing at South Carolina. Had a great high school career at Loomis and Cheshire Academy. Dante, thanks for checking in. James, you talk about being a pro style quarterback. We're living in the era of the spread now, where both at the high school level and the college level, and to a certain degree, the NFL now too. Teams want that athletic dual threat guy. But the thing is this, once you get to the NFL, your style of quarterback still plays. Yeah, it'd be nice to have that dual threat guy, the Lamar Jackson, the athlete type. But as we've also seen, the pocket passer still really matters, whether it be Jordan Love, whether it be CJ Stroud. Being that kind of guy that can play from within the pocket, like you said, hang, make multiple reads, hitch, and deliver, it still matters. Are those some of the things that you and Mike McCarthy, who's your quarterback's coach, are those some of the things that you guys have been working on thus far this offseason?
Yeah, first of all, like I want to give a shout out to like Mike because Mike has been like the ultimate resource and like help like
And
role
a
model,
Bridgewater State Hall
mentor.
of Famer, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a man. Nobody did it better than Mike. But yeah, over the past 3 months, I've been fortunate enough to work with Mike, who's I think is just like one of the best quarterback developers across the country. I put him up with anybody. But over the past 3 months, we really delved into like pro systems and like just different concepts, like things like that I am going to need to transition to make that next step to the next level, whether that be like, under center play action, 5 and 7 step drops and just pro concepts, making all the throws.
And Aiden Pereira, who had a hell of a career at Central Catholic, formerly of Maine, now at Merrimack, checks in, and he says, Jimmy, man. Thought I'd embellish the wise Aiden. Thanks for checking in, brother. Hope all is well, my man. You are watching Field the Draft. This is the inaugural episode for this offseason of Field the Draft. We're going to be coming to you for the next 6 weeks, and we're going to be talking to some of the best NFL draft prospects in New England. Tonight, we are joined by James Cahoon, quarterback from Bridgewater State. James, I think the other thing that's important here to talk about is the development piece, right? And so during your time in college, you dealt with COVID in 2020. You weren't playing football. How did that experience help you put yourself in a position where you can start? Because from what I've heard, you really worked your ass off during that season to put yourself in a position to come back in 2021 and start.
Yeah, I think as a freshman, I was like a little naive, a little young. I wasn't really ready to play. And, I kind of realized that pretty quickly. So I honestly I remember talking to my coach, Coach Varia, and I was like, I don't understand why anyone would be mad about like this whole COVID thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just we basically get an extra year of just like bettering yourself. And, I think that's the reason that I've like been able to have success now is because I just got better year after year after year after year. And it's really due to just the wealth of resources and like great people that I've been able to experience and meet because of like coming to Bridgewater State. And, I think that any like success that anyone has is usually attributed to the people that like surround them, the people they surround themselves with,
Yep. No, absolutely. Zach Souza checks in. Man, you have quite the fan club. Best quarterback east of the Mississippi from your fellow Bridgewater footballers. Awesome stuff, Zach. Thanks for checking in, man. Greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. You got an opportunity to play in a couple of all-star games to help prepare you for life as a professional football player. Talk about your experience playing in the FCS Bowl and the Podium Bowl.
Yeah, I think both of those were great opportunities. Just it was awesome to get to compete alongside some of the best guys in the country. You know what I mean? And I think like it stinks just like sometimes as a Division III player or a smaller school player, you're just not going to be able to get the same exposure that those other players that of high levels will be able to get. You know what I mean? So it was a great opportunity for me to put out there more tape and just show that I can do it again at the highest level with the best guys in the country. and I got a chance to meet with a couple teams like informally, just like back and forth, which was awesome.
And how was that? I mean, you don't have to tell us who you met with, but what was that like for you in terms of, those conversations and what they told you as far as what they were seeing from you and your game?
Yeah, I think that they were really impressed with. I had a couple of really, really good days of practice. I think 2 really good weeks together, and the biggest like things that they were saying was best basically that like they definitely believe that my arm strength is going to translate, and they just thought that they were pretty impressed with the 2 days that I had there.
And obviously now you're preparing for next week. And of course, a week from Thursday, you're going to be participating at the Holy Cross Pro Day, and our Kevin Stone is going to be there for that. And of course, New England Football Journal is your home for Pro Day coverage in the area. We're going to be covering the Bryant Pro Day on Wednesday, Holy Cross on Thursday, BC on Friday. We're also going to be at UConn on Wednesday. Our Tony Catalina is going to be there. So we're also going to be at UMass when we get that date, so we got you covered. But anyway, that's a separate conversation. What are some things that you and Mike are working on right now to get you ready for that pro day a week from Thursday?
Yeah, we talked like I talked about earlier, just 5, 7 step under center. Continue to work on being able to like pre-snap and post-snap identifications, the big time throws you got to be able to make, the field comeback, all kinds of that stuff, the big dig, stuff like that. Continuing to work my ability to make plays like off platform, on platform, eliminating any like sequency issues or inefficiencies I had in my mechanics, and just cleaning everything up.
One of the things I've noticed in my short conversation with you here, James, is that, and even Coach Lyons, John Lyons, of course, coached you down at Bridgewater State. He's on WEI, New England Football Journal. We were talking about you prior to me coming on live with you here, and one of the things that he talked about was that you're always smiling, you're always laughing. You just have this personality that you can tell by people that are jumping on and joining us that you're well respected, but you also have this infectious personality. People want to be around you. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think so. I do my best. I love football. I'm like the biggest football guy in the world. I don't think anybody likes it more than me. And I just like try and be nice to
I don't
people.
know, man. I do like 5 of these live streams a week. You might have some competition there, brother.
We'll see. No, but yeah, I just try and be myself. That's what my parents, my whole family, is always instilled in that to me from a very, very young age. So I'm always gonna try and do the same thing.
How cool is it for you to be going through this process? I mean, every kid dreams of having the opportunity to play in the NFL or a sport that they love that they play as a young child. How cool is it right now for you to be going through this process and working towards potentially realizing your dream?
Yeah, like I said, like if you asked me this like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even probably like last year, I don't know if I like would have believed you. I always had the confidence and I had the faith in myself, but being able to kind of like go down to the FCS Bowl, the Podium Bowl, compete with those guys and get some exposure. I really was like, I'm no different than anyone else. You know what I mean? Like just because I'm a small school kid doesn't mean that I shouldn't get my chance. You know what I mean? Or get a shot. I think that I throw it just as well as anybody in the country, and I can compete with anybody in the country. So I think I'm just going to try and do what I already know is that I belong and that I am a pro quarterback.
Yeah, and you need to have that confidence, right? I mean, you're playing arguably the toughest position in all of sports. That confidence is important. With that said, if I were to ask your teammates to tell me 3 things about you, what do you think they would say?
Yeah, I think that they'd probably say that I'm pretty like relentless with like my preparation and my work ethic. You're getting like the same guy in me every single day, no matter like can't no one you can't show your teammates if you're having a bad day, you know what I mean? Like tough loss, big win, it doesn't really matter. You're the same guy every single day in, day out, no matter what it is. Um, I think that I am an avid communicator, and I think that I have a really good ability to relate to people of all different backgrounds, all different cultures, whatever it is, ages, whatever it is, positions. I think that's a big strong suit of mine. And then I'd probably say I'm a lifelong learner. Kind of always like trying to learn. I'm always like, if you think you know everything, you know what I mean? That's where you got it wrong. Like, no matter what, you're wrong. you always should do your best every single day to try and become the best version of yourself and continue to better that every single day in and day out.
And conversely, what do you think your coaches would say?
I think they'd say something similar. I think that I talk to my coaches about this a lot. Is I've come a long way from where I was, and I've really matured and grown into like the best version of myself. And I think that kind of comes along with the fact of just like the trying to embody the values and the things that Bridgewater State, kind of instilled in me, and the core values and things that our program stands for.
Has it sunk in yet that you could potentially be the second guy, the second Division III guy from this area potentially that could get their shot to play in the NFL in the last 3 years?
No, I try not to like really think about that. Like I try not to think, I don't know. I just really am excited for the opportunity. You know what I mean? And I know that I'm gonna make the most out of it. And if a team does take me, they will not regret it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is it goes back to that confidence piece, right? You have to have confidence in yourself. The ability's there. Scouts are going to see that. Talent evaluators are going to see that. Coaches are going to see that. But I think it's the way you connect with them, right? It's that confidence. You definitely have that, and you see that in the way people react to you. In regards to playing at the next level, obviously the goal is to play in the NFL. That's everybody's goal.
Yeah.
If you don't get that opportunity, would you be willing to play in one of the other professional leagues?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the CFL, the UFL, those are like awesome, awesome opportunities. I got a chance to train with Michael Darius and Andrew Jamil. I've gone pretty close to them, and they both say awesome things about their experiences in other pro leagues. And then if I wouldn't be, I'd be open to go overseas. I know a lot of people have talked so great about or have great experiences, talk like amazing things about their experiences and how their professional careers over there went. So
And I think that that's important. The reason I ask it is obviously, like I said, everybody's goal is to play in the NFL, but I do think that teams are going to want to know, all right, how much does this guy love football? He could tell us he loves football. He could show us in the interview process. He could show us on the board. But if it doesn't work out here, is he willing to go to another league to continue to hone his craft and work on his game? And so I think it's great that you would do that. And it's not, listen, if you said to me, nope, you know what, it's NFL or bust, that's fine too. I think that speaks to your mentality and what you want for yourself. But I think a lot of talent evaluators are going to want to hear that. Joey checks in. He says, let me just pull up this comment here. Let's go, James. He's not just a quarterback. He's a great leader too. Yeah, well, I mean, there you go. Again, I think a lot of people. What's the going rate nowadays? How much did you pay these guys to come on and say all these nice things about you?
I'm still a college student. No way.
Yeah, right. And I was going to ask you about that. In regards to the training, where are you training right now? I know you're working with Mike, so I'm assuming it's local. But where are you training right now, and what's your setup as you prepare for the draft?
Yeah, so about like the past 3 or 4 months, ever since the season pretty much ended, I've been working with my head strength and conditioning coach and offensive coordinator. He has a facility down in Johnson, Rhode Island. It's called Next Level Fitness. So working with him and Coach Recca, who's another coach on staff. He's really, really good with the speed and just the pro agility, things like that. So I've been doing about like 2 days really of strength and conditioning and then combine prep there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? It's not just the combine prep and doing all that stuff for your pro day. I mentioned earlier the board work. Have you been put on the board yet? And if so, what if scouts or talent evaluators asked you?
I have not been put on the board yet, but I work with stuff like that with Mike all the time. You know what I mean? We've been doing like ever since I really got there, we've been like talking through concepts, how they fit in with different schemes, personnels, coverages, anything. And I used to talk like I watched so much film with actually my past quarterback coaches at Bridgewater, Coach Caleb Gelsomino, who's now at Central, and then Coach Tom Dool, who's at Bridgewater. Like we would be doing one-on-one meetings like 2 or 3 times a week, just going over different concepts, things like that, talking through things that we liked, whether it was game planning or just like watching film for fun,
Yeah, and once you get through your pro day and you get that out of the way, what's the focal point of the rest of your training going to be? What are you guys going to hone in on? Is it just going to be building off of what you've done so far, or are you then going to get into some other things to get you to the finish line?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a little bit of everything. Continue to just hone my craft. Just being the best quarterback that I can possibly be, whether it's in all areas. Emotionally, mentally, and physically.
You know, you come across as a gym rat. You strike me as the kind of guy who loves the game, who loves being around it all the time. But there is that life balance. You got to have it, right? Yeah, we all love the game and love being around it, but there also comes a time when you have to also have other interests so that you can balance things out. What do you like to do when you're away from the game and off the field?
Yeah, it's hard right now because I like eat, sleep, and breathe and love it. But I went to school at Bridgewater. This is my 5th year. I'm finishing up. I actually am taking one class right now. So I'm finishing up my degree in physical education. So that's like really my biggest passion. That along with quarterback like developing. I've been working with Mike McCarthy and M2 and Alex McLaughlin for like the past year and a half, 2 years, really coaching and developing quarterbacks. So I've like been able to got a chance to work with guys like Dante, Aiden, so many other guys, like really, really talented guys from all over New England, and just like pick their brain, talk about that.
So eventually your playing career is going to be over. Hopefully it's a long one and we're talking about you for many, many years to come. But when that day does come and you decide to step away from the game, have you thought about life after football?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to coach.
You definitely
Coach
want
and
to
teach. I
coach.
love them.
Right, I was going to say, and if you're getting a degree in physical education, would you want to be a teacher?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that my passion always since I've been little is kind of just like, and this definitely comes back to again like what my family's taught me, like morals, things like that, is the biggest impact that you can have in life isn't really like what you can do, or it's really more about what you can do for others and what impact you can have for others. And I think that's just something that I want to continue to do, whether that's with football, like definitely with football, and continue to help quarterbacks develop and beginning to train that next wave and be able to help guide them through their processes and eliminate inefficiencies. And then being a public school teacher, I'd love that.
Awesome. Great stuff to hear, man. I mean, I've been a history teacher, head football coach, now I'm in administration. It's still, despite the difficulties that teachers and coaches face in today's world, it's still a great profession. So it's great to hear a young man like yourself saying that that's something you could see yourself doing after your playing career is over. I'm going to ask you a simple question here. We got a couple questions left
Yeah,
here,
of course.
James. Why do you love playing football?
Why do I love playing football? I think that like since the moment I've like was in diapers, I would just like was playing with the football. I remember like playing pass in the backyard with my parents and my family, Thanksgiving Day, stuff like that. I remember going to like the high school games when I was a little kid and just like wishing more than anything that I would get the chance to play varsity football. And I'm definitely like a competitor. Like I love competition. You know what I mean? I hate to lose more than anything else, no matter what it is, whether it's football, Monopoly, anything.
And final question here for you, James. What is a team getting in you if they draft you or sign you after the draft? What kind of a person and player are they getting?
Yeah, I think like a lot of like the things I've talked about, I think that I'm a relentless with my work ethic and my attention to detail. I'm going to do everything I can to be the best player, but also the best teammate that I can be. I really understand that like bettering myself is both going to help the team and then doing whatever I can to help others and support others. Um, like I said, I'm a lifelong learner. I always like my biggest goal is to just continue day after day to be the best version of myself in whatever aspect that is.
It's great stuff, man. And I got to tell you, people will tell you that you're playing from behind, if you will, because you're a D3 player, and you've got to work a little harder, and you've got a bigger bridge to cross. But at the end of the day, man, your physical tools speak for themselves. I've seen you on tape, and now that I've gotten to speak to you tonight and get to know you, I don't see any team out there that meets with you or talks to you that isn't going to like you and want to give you a shot. I think you're going to get that opportunity, and I'm excited. Speaking for all of us in New England Football Journal, we're excited to see you work out next week. And, like I said, our Kevin Stone's going to be there for that. So he'll be talking to you, but we're excited to see you work out next week and see where this dream of yours goes, my man.
Awesome. I really, really do appreciate the kind words and having me on tonight. It was awesome.
Well, hey, man, anytime. And if there's anything we can do, we're here to promote, the game of football in New England. We're here to promote the players at all three levels, whether it be high school, college, or the NFL or professional football. So if there's anything we can do, don't be afraid to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
All right. Anytime, brother. That is James Cahoon, quarterback from Bridgewater State. That'll do it for this episode of Field the Draft. For James, I'm John Serenitas. Till next time, peace.